In the world of training, evaluating the performance of the trainees is an important element of the training process. Here's a number of things you can do to be able to understand it at a deeper level. For longer sessions or longer programs, think about a series of quizzes instead of one big test. This is going to allow you to ask the same question multiple different ways, and then it will definitely reveal whether somebody understands the topic on a deep level. Secondly, help your participants to apply the information. Give them a scenario so that they have to take the information and then think through it. This is not only going to drive the learning deeper, it's going to quickly reveal who understood the material and who didn't. Listen closely to the questions your participants ask you during the session. The questions they ask can absolutely reveal whether they get the material, they're kind of understanding it, or they're in left field cuckoo bananas. They're asking questions that absolutely have nothing to do with what you talked about. The questions the participant asks can absolutely reveal a hint to the level of understanding that they have. If you call on a participant during the session and ask them to answer a question, listen to their answers. Obviously, if they answer the question 100% correct, that's great. But even if they're just slightly off or there's a slight issue with their answer, that's a great sign that they're getting it, that the information is sinking in. If they answer that question totally left field, cuckoo's bananas, and they're answering all of the questions, cuckoo bananas, that's not a good sign either. And since we're on the cuckoo bananas theme, the more your participants go off track in the conversations during the session, the more they derail or come up with these sort of very crazy, very rare situations that never happen. And those situations are always totally off the beaten track of normal questions you get for that topic. If you get a whole bunch of those over a period of the session, that's a real red flag that your participants aren't really absorbing the right information or the information you want them to. Another great way to evaluate participant understanding is listen to how much they interact during group sessions or breakout sessions. If that participant never interjects, never shares anything, never has anything to add, is standoffish from the group, that's a real red flag. Now, you got to keep in mind, you might have an introvert or might have somebody who's uncomfortable sharing in that group setting, and that's a different situation. But if you go through an entire training program and you don't have anything to add, anything, that's another red flag that you should be thinking about and evaluating. It might indicate that they're really not understanding the information. If your participants are not effectively taking notes, they're always sort of writing down the wrong things, or they're trying to write down every last word you say as you say it, that they're not really listening to the lesson that's being provided to them, boy, that's a sign that maybe they're not understanding the information. That's just one data point, but that's a red flag. Some other great evaluation techniques are teach-back methods. So you present some information and quite literally ask them to repeat it back to you. If they're not able to do that, if they stumble, if they really are having a hard time literally repeating back to you what you just said, it's something to be considered. One other great area to think about is the participant's ability to apply the information. I referenced this when we talked about testing. Giving your participants a scenario or a situation or an exercise where they have to apply the information they've been learning. That will reveal very quickly whether your participant really has absorbed that information, whether they're really able to discern, use judgment, whether they're able to apply information A to situation B. That's a great indicator of whether they're really understanding the information. So there's a whole boatload of different ways to evaluate whether your participants are really learning, whether their skills are growing, and the likelihood of their behavior changing. So, what's your favorite way to evaluate participant understanding? What I miss? Let me know. Leave me a comment down below.